pumping their chest. The one Nebraska loss, and that's not a loss, as you said, that was just an old-fashioned ass-kicking, is the team that Oregon just crushed.
Right.
That's what you got to look at. And you do have, ironically here, some head-to-head matchups. You played Colorado, we played Colorado.
Right.
They kicked your ass, we kicked their ass. That's big.
There's no way to get around it. And late.
Late.
Yeah, this is not early in the season. This is not the Fresno State game. This is a game that was played late against what was perceived to be...
I have never seen a team end the year with a loss that badly and get rewarded as they have. That's just so stupid.
You're talking about Nebraska?
Yeah.
Well, that's the computer deal with it. And well, Nebraska, it'll be tomorrow night. Tonight is Maryland and Florida, and that's
Tonight's
an
a good one.
scenario. Yeah, you got a good game. I think it'll be a cakewalk for Florida. However...
Pick your nose and Spurrier won't play you.
Rex Grossman... How do we feel about this? Rex Grossman is not starting in the game. There are threats that he might not play the entire game.
I know how I feel about it. If I had a gun with 2 bullets, one is at Steve Spurrier. Well,
the other's yourself?
Nah.
Shoot yourself first and then shoot Spurrier.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Well, so you think him keeping... See, I'm torn with this because I do believe that if you break team rules...
What did he do?
Well, allegedly, now, we haven't heard and they haven't made it public. I would think that if it was, in fact, a few seconds late for curfew, which is what the report is, that you could make that public because it's kind of nonsensical, although there'd be a firestorm if it was just a few minutes and he was suspending him from the game. I'm torn between this. I think that you have to follow team rules, and I think when kids do things like this, they should pay a price. The problem that I have is that at the end of the year, and you've worked all that time to get this reward, which is the bowl game on national television, and it is literally the icing on the cake in the season. Yeah, and then if it in fact is if it's a bump in the road type of thing, if it was a flat tire, yuck yuck, or if it was a cab that got lost, or a woman, which most likely it was. Yeah, we'll talk about this. But the Rex Grossman thing, he's a high-profile kid, and to suspend him, it casts a long shadow here for the first part of the game. Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio. We'll be back. We'll talk a little college. That's why they call it authority, because it's always right, even if it's wrong. Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio. Here on a Wednesday after the New Year's and the Christmas holidays, we hope you all had a great, great holiday. We're talking college football. Oregon beats Colorado. That's the big one. Oregon in line for a share of the national title if Nebraska can upset Miami. We're also talking about tonight's game, in a manner of speaking. Maryland, the underdog, will face the University of Florida, Steve Spurrier's guys. Rex Grossman, who was... a lot of people felt should have won the Heisman Trophy this year, put up great numbers, has led the team all year, evidently was late. We don't know how late. Coming into the hotel, he missed the curfew and now will not start in the Orange Bowl. Let me throw the number out there as Booms and I discuss this. 1-877-996-6369, 1-877-99 on Fox. Should he do this to the kid? I mean, should you suspend the kid, assuming it is just a few minutes in the curfew? I think I heard a soundbite, Booms, about Grossman saying that it was just a few minutes and he barely got in late. And whatever the reason, I don't know. Do you think a coach owes a player of that magnitude to the point where he should consider?
Look. Can he yell at him? Can he do something? Sure. To now make it a national story and embarrass him because he's a couple minutes late. That's rough. And I'm a big stickler for rules. And I'm not saying there isn't something you shouldn't do to him. Not this. This is stupid.
Yeah, I just...
for God's sakes, the drunk played at Ohio State. He got in.
Well, he didn't start. Now, he's not saying... They're not saying that Grossman will not play, although they're rumored...
Well, listen. He might play, but he won't start. Belisari played, but he didn't start. So the punishment for careening around Columbus, Ohio, with enough alcohol in you to embalm somebody is the same as being a couple minutes late. That's not right.
Well, no, Belisari was suspended, too. I mean, his reputation was shattered by that whole deal. Grossman, I think, too, that they should, if you're going to suspend the kid, I do think that you should let people know exactly what the infraction was, because what happens is everybody's imagination goes wild. Yeah, and you wind up with that. And again, I don't know. The question that I have is, does the coach owe the kid when a kid makes that kind of an impact on a program, and understand that this is a wildly young, very, I think he's a sophomore this year. He's going to be around for a couple of years. I'm kind of torn. I think that if you're late, I think there has to be some punishment. I think suspension from this game is probably not the thing that I would do either. I would not suspend a kid because you work all year for this, and it's a great reward. And
it just seems like something where if you want to take him into the office and bite his head off, fine. But I mean,
well, there are others. There are others involved here too.
Smells like something else is up.
Well, Spurrier, I don't know that I'm not the biggest Steve Spurrier fan. Here is Spurrier with some comments on this.
We lose the game, you know what? You can blame it on me. And if Rex plays and we lose the game, you're going to blame it on me too. So it doesn't matter. We're going to play the guys we think deserve to play and have earned the right to play.
Well, there it is. Deserve to play, earned a right. What is earning a right to play? Is that on the field or is that leaving the bar in time? I don't know. And two, you know what else disturbs me about that? It's the me factor. What he did was he centered the entire discussion on him.
As he always does.
Well, it really wasn't about him, and yeah, you're going to get blamed. Obviously, you're going to get blamed, and you're going to get the credit. I mean, the guy makes $4 million a year in college or whatever it is, so he's got the upside of the thing.
The last game of the year, it's a bowl game, it's important.
Let the kid play.
What are you showing the kid by, either not playing him or not start? Here's the other thing. If you just don't start him and 3 plays later he's in,
stupid.
And it's just stupid.
It is stupid, and that has happened a number of times in different programs. Let me put you in a position of the coach. You're the coach, all right?
You're
Coach
fired.
Booms. Yeah, okay. Well, believe me, I wouldn't apply, so you don't have to fire me.
Give me your headset.
All right, Coach Booms.
Yes.
All right. If you just pull that whistle out of your ass and come on over here.
It's not a whistle.
All right. All right. Well, Coach Smith can get out from behind him then.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so Coach Booms,
yes.
You go down to Miami with your team. You're in the Orange Bowl. What are the rules? What rules do you set for your kids?
Curfew.
Prior to
I need everybody
you do put a curfew on.
Yeah, I need everybody in by a certain time, and I would prefer no drinking for the week.
No drinking and everybody in by what time?
Midnight. And in bed.
How about fraternizing? How about a woman, if you happen to meet a young girl, somebody that you just ran into on the street or whatever, would you be allowed to bring her up to your room?
Only if she'll do the coach. Next question, please.
Oh, I'm still working on Coach Booms here.
Anybody else?
Let's take a call. Only if she'll do the coach. That's it. No drinking, the invite's 12, and if you could get me a hooker, that'd be really good.
Yeah, if your broad likes you, she's going to like me.
All right, let's go to John. John, you're on with Kiley. I was going to say Kiley, but that won't fly.
How you guys doing?
Somebody will be real pissed.
Booms, is there any truth that, if Santa Claus came down your chimney in Cleveland and he didn't give you what you wanted, you threw beer bottles at him?
I go for the leaded crystal ornaments like Mike.
It really does kill me, though.
No danger of Santa coming down his chimney.
Spurrier, to me, is the Jim Boeheim of NCAA football. He whines and bitches. He doesn't have a track record of instilling any discipline. He didn't see a game that he couldn't run up the score. For this guy to call into integrity and to bench this kid is just hypocrisy at its finest.
Doesn't it smell, Johnny, like something else going on? I always look for conspiracies wherever I can, but 2 minutes late to a meeting? Nah, something else is going on.
To see Spurrier invoke integrity, I think the hardest thing would be to get Siamese twins into a kayak.
Well, why do you say that? Why do you say integrity? Now, I don't recall Spurrier's integrity being ever attacked. What is it about him that you think lacks integrity?
I believe Florida kids got into it with the Miami of Florida team a few years back. Nobody got suspended.
Yeah. In fact, Kev, we covered that. Remember when they were all going down the street? Oh, that was in New Orleans, wasn't it, John? And
yes, it was. It was in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, and they brawled all down the street.
Yeah. You know, and the other thing, Booms, which really pissed me off being an Ohio State fan, I mean, I wish Belisari would have missed curfew. I mean, but, you know, Tressel really ticked me off. This kid was the captain. He went out and got drunk before the last home game, you know, and believe me, Krenzel, the way that kid played up in Michigan, up in Ann Arbor, he deserved to play the whole game. Yeah. Now, really, actually, the whole Ohio State team didn't show up in the first half, but I'd be damned if someone could convince me that we would have been down 28-0 if Belisari wouldn't have played at all, because Krenzel played a hell of a game at Michigan, and the kid should have been in there, and Tressel has, I think, a lot to answer to. For, you know, I mean, this guy was supposed to replace the stench.
Let's fire him. Fire him.
No,
you fire everybody else every year. You might as well fire him.
And we don't fire everybody else. It took us 13 years to fire Cooper.
Booms fires everybody.
No, what John and I and other people do is we evaluate, and if you look like garbage and you do stupid things, we get somebody in who does the job. I agree with you, John. I don't like a lot of the moves Tressel has made, and I was a Glenn Mason fan, and that's who I wanted. So
they screwed him worse than they screwed Tyrone. Than Notre Dame screwed Tyrone Williams, because Mason openly advocated for that job.
Yeah, you gotta listen later when we do our Tyrone Willingham thing, because there's going to be some humor there.
John. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Happy New Year, and go Gamecocks. Let's go to Jerry. Jerry, you're on with Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Jerry.
Just a couple little comments here. I got a cold, so I don't want to talk too long.
All right, so does Kyle.
As far as Spurrier, you know, he did come out on the news here in Florida, at least, you know, the things that I saw, and said he was very late, that Grossman was very late. The other thing we have to take a look at here is that there was 5 players. And if you look at the 5 players, one of them was Jorgensen as a starter, and also Bobby McCray. Bobby McCray is from Miami, okay? And put 2 and 2 together. Who was out showing who around? If they were all out together, and Bobby McCray was showing them around and met some girls, yeah, they're probably late. Now, the other thing I want to say is back when Florida State, when Janikowski was there in the Sugar Bowl, and he was late, and Bobby Bowden said, I'm not going to, suspend him to bite my tongue, whatever the heck he said. They asked Spurrier about it at that time, what do you think? And he goes, well, if it was my player, I would have suspended him. So you got to give him that at least. And one thing about Spurrier, you can say why.
All right, so you're down in Florida, and they're saying in the papers and on the shows there he was very late.
Oh, Spurrier said it. I just saw it about 20 minutes ago on
Give me an idea of time. All right, give me an idea of time. Hours?
Yeah, he said it wasn't even close, in his words. It wasn't
I couldn't tell us. It wasn't even close. It could be a half hour. It could be an hour.
No, that's close.
It could be.
It's not close.
I probably agree with you. I might have handled it differently. But I will say this about Spurrier. The man, for the most part, when he puts out rules, he's suspended kids before for doing things that I know for a fact at Florida State, there's some players over there that were still playing there after doing the same things.
All right, who's your favorite team there, John?
I'm a Gator. There's no doubt about it. I'm just saying, I get kind of sick of people, going through and saying
your credibility is shot.
Yeah, that's he's
a Gator. Steve Spurrier. He went after Florida State. You see him go after Florida State like that, just as quick as he could?
Well, Bobby Bowden doesn't run exactly the cleanest program.
Bobby Bowden runs a absolutely squeaky clean program. There's nothing. You're talking about recruiting here, or you're talking about the kids who get in trouble after they come in? Well, there's not much you can do about that. Kids are going to get in trouble. You know that. You were a kid once.
These guys, all 5 of them, were out getting bopped. And as usual, whenever you got to find trouble, you just follow it along far enough, and there's a broad.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that you would put. I don't know that I would put a curfew on him. I would put a curfew on him for maybe the last 2 or 3 days, but I'd let him go. I think that's how you get him. I think that's how you get a team to win in the regular season. You give them something to shoot for, which is an all-night drunken whoring binge.
Oh, they found something
at
to
the
shoot
bowl
for.
site. All right, we'll take your calls on this. 1-877-996-6369. Would you give him that special week?
Fox Sports Radio. Fox Sports Radio.
Whole game's over. We're going to stay 3 or 4 days. Then you turn them loose.
Yeah, this from a guy who wants the player to bring home a woman for him.
Not for me, for the coach.
Coach Booms, yeah.
Coach Booms.
Let's go to Bob in Los Angeles. Bob, you're on with Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, Happy New Year, guys.
Hey,
Booms,
Bobby, Happy New Year.
You were talking about maybe Spurrier had some ulterior motives. Wasn't this guy, he's going to transfer to some other college or something like that?
Yeah, rumors of that.
Well, no, he's going. The second-team quarterback, the kid who's going to start.
Miami?
I wonder if he could talk him into changing his mind just by starting. But I guarantee you Spurrier put his mother in there with a wooden leg, man, if he thought she'd win the game.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
See that.
The guy does make it all about him.
You ain't jiving, man.
Yeah,
He's been running it up for years, man.
Yeah, I'm not a Spurrier fan. Would you suspend a guy, Bobby, for a curfew violation?
Like you were saying, it depends on, how late it was and stuff like that.
If he shows up, by the way, at 7 in the morning, blitzed with his pants down, I think I gotta do something then. If he's an hour or two late and he feels bad and he's not been drinking, then no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you could reprimand him, and you could. Hey, supposedly he's going to be there a few years more. So hey, there's a lot of things you could do. Anyway, hey, have a good year, guys.
Thanks,
you
Bobby.
too,
We'll
Bob.
talk to you during the year.
Happy New Year. Brock Berlin will start for Rex Grossman. Berlin is the guy that has transferred, I believe, you're right, to the University of Miami, and I think it's a done deal, unless, of course, he throws 4 touchdown passes in this game and beats Grossman out. No,
Spurrier is the kind of guy who would start Berlin tonight, call Ralph Regan, tell him to tell his defensive line, on the first 2 plays we're not going to block, so break his legs.
You're just a delightful fellow. Let's go to Chip. Chip, you're on with Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio.
How are you doing, guys?
Hey, Chip, Happy New Year, buddy.
Same to you. A couple things for Booms' conspiracy theory there. The transfer may be part of it, and also part of it may be Spurrier's in the whole us against Florida State recruiting thing right now, and I'm sure he's trying to make his program look a little better to the recruits. And there's also, he may be trying to prove that his whole success is the system. It doesn't matter who he plugs in there.
I think there's truth to that. I think he's proven that over the years. I think that a lot of times he has gone with 2 and 3 quarterbacks.
It's also a good signal. It's also a good signal to parents who are debating where to go. I think if you're sitting back as a parent of a high school football player and a coach comes out and says, I don't care if you're the starting quarterback or the superstar, if you break the rules, you're sitting out. I think if you're a parent, that seems like the environment you'd want your kid in.
I think that was a good point Chip made about recruiting. But see, I don't agree with that. I think if he would say exactly what he did, and then he would lay it out. But I would be concerned that if my son played the whole year and was a good kid and was a few minutes late or a half an hour late, he got in at 12:30 instead of 12, and all of a sudden, as you said, he's being embarrassed nationally, I think that's a problem.
But then don't you think that it's probably something that would be very embarrassing to the kid?
No, I don't.
Well,
I think there are certain people. There are certain people that are, how should we say, Nazi-ish when it comes to this, and they are so restrictive. And I get the feeling that Spurrier, who is the most humorless individual I've ever come across in my entire life, I think that he's one of those guys. Now, that's not to say that it depends on how you present it. If he's presented it the whole year as,
he looks like
you
Herbie
better
the
not
dentist.
do this.
He looks like Herbie the dentist from the Rudolph cartoon.
Yeah. Well, he is a football genius.
First of all, he's
unlikable.
unlikable. He's unlikable. His face is unlikable, and to top it off, he wears that stupid visor. I like to go through the television and choke the life out of him.
Well, I know.
And Happy New Year.
Else. Yeah. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, you're on with Kiley and Booms.
Happy New Year, guys. How you doing?
Hey, man. Happy New Year.
Hey, just my comment on the Rex Grossman situation. I put myself in Steve Spurrier's shoes as a coach. You got to think that if the kid's going to break your rules that you have set, then I would suspend him. I would sit him.
Even if it was a couple minutes?
There is a leeway there, but if he was 15, 20, half hour, yes. I would definitely suspend the kid.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that when you hear Kiley say, he's the same one the past few weeks talking about how you can't have one set of rules for Randy Moss and one for the rest of the Vikings. And, of course, Dennis Green has done just that. And look what happened to the Vikings. You have chaos. So
exactly. I'm from Minnesota, and I've seen it front page.
Right. So what Spurrier is saying is, yeah, you were a Heisman guy. Yeah, you're my number one guy, but I don't give a damn. This is the rule. The other 50 kids followed it. You didn't. You're not playing.
Exactly. Hey, here's my next comment.
Yep.
This is more for Kevin. Why do you need to know what he did wrong? All you have to know is
just get
Well, I think they do. I think they do get picked drunk. I think there's some of that goes on. Absolutely. Put yourself in their position. You were the coach.
Again,
now you be the player. You be the player. You get to the bowl game.
Yes, Coach.
You know you're gonna tone it down 2-3 nights before the game, but you're there 10 days. You're away from your girlfriend if you have one. You're out. You've got per diem money. You're in Miami. You're in Phoenix. You're in Pasadena. Isn't part of the reward and I'll tell you another thing they do at these games. They trot you around. They put you on a schedule and they trot you around to these never-ending dinners and ceremonies, and it just drives you crazy. When you get a couple of hours off, don't you want to go experience the nightlife in the town and all of that?
I'm going to get a chick that's open enough to doing me and the coach.
Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're on with Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, I got a comment about Grossman. Yeah, I think there should be rules in place, but in the same token, a bowl game being a bowl game, you need to give these athletes a little flexibility, as one of you guys just stated. And
flexibility to do what?
Well, if you're late, as far as curfew is concerned, I don't think he should levy that over his head.
And why have a curfew?
Well, like I said, curfew, you need to have a curfew. You need to keep the team together.
Why, if you're going to have flexibility with it?
Well, I think you run them. I think you should have a curfew.
Well, hold on, let me finish my conversation with it. Why have a curfew if you're going to have flexibility with it?
Well,
if I tell you be in at midnight, and you come in at 2 in the morning, and I say, that's all right, what did I tell you to be there at midnight for?
Well, still, no, you're the boss, so
right.
You can lay down your rules, and it's up to me whether or not I want to abide by them. Then if I choose
right, and if you choose not to abide by them, since you correctly identified me as the boss, then I get to choose what I want to do with you since you chose not to abide by them, right?
Yes, and that's the issue. Yes. The issue is not... Thank you, Mike. The issue is not whether or not you broke the rules. I think we all agree on that. Somebody broke a rule. The issue is what do you do about it? Clearly the rule was broken. And then do you run them? Do you take them out and run them up and down the stadium steps? Now, I would rather see him do that to the kid.
Logically is logically. If you're a couple minutes late, fine. Anything over a couple minutes, you're done. It's that simple. That's the rule. Otherwise,
nobody is saying that you didn't break the rule and you shouldn't be punished. Should you be punished this way? I don't think so. Absolutely not.
That's absolutely ridiculous. What other way are you going to punish him? Don't comb your hair?
Absolutely ridiculous. So what do you do when you get a guy stealing a hot dog out of a 7-Eleven? You give him the gas chamber?
Well, no. I'm not opposed to that. They're there at a bowl game. The reason there's a curfew is because he's part of the University of Florida football team. And the University of Florida football team, to a T, has abided by the rules put down by Coach Spurrier. He didn't. What do you mean don't suspend him for the game or don't this and that? What do you want to do with him?
Something else. There are 5 players involved here, by the way.
Something else.
And he's the high-profile
typical liberal. I'll ask you again. What do you want to do with him?
I think I just said this 2 seconds ago. I'd run him up and down the stadium steps. I make him do 1,000 push-ups. I tie him to a pole and cut his arms with razor blades. Something other than what he's doing, which is a national embarrassment. I don't know what he did. For all we know, he stole a car, robbed a bank, raped and pillaged, and then came in 10 minutes late. We don't know what he did. But assuming he was just a few minutes late on a curfew, or an hour, or 2 hours late...
The earlier was right. It's none of your business. Steve Spurrier stepped to a microphone and said they violated team rules, and here's their punishment.
And I disagree. Let's go to Clay. Clay, you're on with Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, guys. Honored to be on the phone with you.
Hey, good to have you. Happy New Year, by the way.
Thank you very much. You too. Hey, I played football at Florida State. I was a 4-year starter, 96 to 99. We played in the Sugar Bowl 3 times and the Fiesta Bowl once when I was there. And you hit the nail on the head. When you're there, you get there the first day, you got $1,000 in your pocket, and they turn you loose on Bourbon Street. It's a recipe for trouble, or wherever you are, South Beach in Miami.
Right.
For something not to go wrong is amazing.
All right, well, let me ask you about Bobby. What were Bobby's rules?
And those are the 2 places, by the way. If I gave you a G and turned you loose in Boise, not much better than
you'd be mayor.
Trouble, I'm sure.
What were Bobby's rules?
Of course, we had a curfew, and I'll tell you this, too. It evolved a little bit. When my first year, I guess Dalton hadn't lost a bowl game in 14 years and had a very set regimen that he went by. It was, hadn't changed in probably 15 years. And then we got beat 52-20 by Florida, and I think the main reason was because we weren't focused. We had been out all week, drinking and whatever on Bourbon Street. And
well, what were the rules? What were specifically? You had $1,000. You were on Bourbon Street. When did you have to be in? You were he either had a curfew or he didn't. When did you get drunk in the afternoon and get back by 8?
No, well, the curfew the first night was, say, like 1:30, and then closer to the game, that was midnight. And then, of course, you know, like the night or two before the game, that was 10 o'clock.
And if you broke curfew, what happened?
I mean, you guys know about the Janikowski case, and you brought up this point already of running. And I think that was the main thing, was he didn't want to let the other guys on the team down by not letting Sebastian play. I mean, a good chance that game could have come down to a field goal, and he felt like it would have... Everybody's
work would have been for nothing.
Exactly. I mean, it was a long season.
Meanwhile, Sebastian's peddling ecstasy out of the back of his trunk, but we don't want to let the rest of the guys down.
But the point was, he was punished, and he was punished. It was pretty tough. I wouldn't have wanted to go through what he went through as far as the running and conditioning he had to do. But there was a punishment, and that was laid down as the punishment beforehand.
That running and conditioning really shows. When he puts on that Raider uniform, he looks pregnant.
What would you have had to do to get suspended from that game?
You guys brought this point, too. To be very late is different than to be 30 minutes, an hour late.
What's very late?
4 hours.
Say 2 hours. Well after every room has been checked and everybody's already in.
And did they, in fact, check you? Were you allowed to have women in your rooms?
No, you were not supposed to have women.
I didn't ask you that, whether you're supposed to or not, did you?
No, we weren't allowed to, no.
You weren't allowed to have women in your room, but you could drink, evidently.
How about gay men? Could you have a gay man there?
Just one.
Just one. You can still get a little noogie and just say, oh, you don't know, that's the punter.
We're talking
right.
We're talking
I roomed with Sebastian that night. He was my roommate, and they were coaches waiting for him to come in the room. I mean, you have to have somewhat of a tight leash there the closer to game time you get.
How long were you there in New Orleans? Clay was a player at Florida State over the past 4 years. Clay, how many days were you in New Orleans?
Generally, at the Fiesta Bowl, too, we got there the day after Christmas. So you were there for a long week.
You were there for about a week. Now, how drunk did you get?
Personally, man, geez.
All right, I think you just answered that question. You can't remember. Now, if you come stumbling, slobbering through the lobby prior to curfew, say curfew is at 11 o'clock, and at 10:30 you come in on your hands and knees, and you crawl across the lobby and fall into the elevator, and somebody drags you into your room, you're okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, if a coach saw you drinking or it was real obvious that you were drunk, I'm sure something would have happened.
Were there drug tests?
Yeah, we were tested. The university tested us, nearly every week. The NCAA was randomly.
Did anybody ever get in trouble for drinking? I think you've answered that question, too.
I mean, I can't remember a case of anybody getting...
Well, you were too drunk. How could you remember?
Getting caught is different than doing that.
Were you able to get your left shoe on your left foot by the time the game started?
Yes.
Yeah, they had an owl painted on the toe.
All right, Clay. Well, I guess we know why you lost that game.
Can I bring up another point?
Hang on a line, Clay. We like you. You're an FSU football player. We're talking college football. Deacon Mike's out there. All right, we'll take some calls on this. It's going pretty good there.
Discipline, as always.
Oh, kiss my ass. Discipline. You couldn't spell discipline.
I don't have to
if I spotted you the B and the G.
Spot me somehow.
Fox Sports Radio. Please hold for Fox Sports Radio.
Long neck bottle. Let go my hand. And jukebox don't stop playing.
On trips that some people consider to be vacation-like rewards, others consider it to be serious business.
What's that? Clay, there's a lot of long neck bottles being grabbed, huh?
Yeah. Well, Clay, a long snapper for the Florida State University football team over the past 4 years, apparently never had a sober minute the entire time he was at a bowl game. And
had to be drunk. You had to be drunk to call us.
Yeah, we held him over here because he is in fact part of this and was recently part of this. What goes on at bowl games? Said that Bobby Bowden gave them a curfew, which got I suppose closer to midnight as you got closer to the game, and then around 10 o'clock.
Clay, I wanted to ask you, buddy. We brought up earlier in the show. Were you part of that fracas that broke out on Bourbon Street? Was that Florida State involved in that, or that was
That was
Florida.
we had a brawl before the game, right before kickoff.
You had a brawl before the game. Who was who was involved
it was
in the
Miami and Florida? I think
Miami and Florida? That's correct. All right. They saved theirs for on the field.
Yeah. The other points. I know you guys are time pressed, but we had a situation. It was like I'm not saying this is the best way to handle anything or the only way, but Coach Bowden had a sort of a 3 strikes deal, and that's the reason, he had to let Randy Moss go. And probably the most serious I ever heard him is when he said, "You think I enjoyed, releasing Randy Moss and taking him off the team?" And that was tough. But
Randy had 3 strikes, you're saying?
Right, and that was before he even played. So and that
he was swinging from his heels. Well, what constituted a strike? What is severe enough to be a
murder?
Murder.
Not playing as hard as you can all the time.
I mean, any of the set team rules, with curfew would definitely be one of them. Drugs, alcohol, any of the set laid down team rules, which are.
Well, let me ask you this, because Bobby and Steve Spurrier have been. Again, this is Clay, who had played last 4 years with Bobby Bowden at Florida State. There's a little bit of a feud going on between Bobby and Steve Spurrier over this issue about hurting the running back Graham, I believe his name is Ernest Graham, and there's a pending lawsuit, I guess, about this. But so now we have Spurrier, who has. Suspended Grossman at least for part of the game. Would Bobby have done that to Chris Wenke?
I don't think so. And the biggest reason I think is because, for one thing, he's looking out down the road. I'm not saying Steve Spurrier's not looking out for his players. What I'm saying is, I don't think Bowden would want to label his player as a problem. And I think just to have Grossman's name thrown across, every radio and TV station like it has been, it's definitely. I think he's a real good person and a heck of a player. And you hate to see him labeled, I'm sure that the scouts will look at that kind of stuff, and they do, and that's why it's kind of a shame.
Hey, if I'm Grossman, all I got to do is call a press conference. Every media guy in the world will be there. I'd call a press conference and say, "Here's what I did. Clear the air."
Because you'd escalate it to World War III, and what he's saying is to keep it in the family.
Well, if he didn't do anything, and Steve Spurrier is making me look like an a-hole around the country, you're right. I escalate it, if that's what you want to call it. I call it clearing the air and getting my fair share out there. Wouldn't you want to do that, Clay, if the coach is out there maligning you and it wasn't anything big?
Yeah, because, that could end up costing him money or draft status or whatever.
That's right.
That'd be the smart thing to do with 2 years to go at the University of Florida. That'd be the really smart thing to do. Have a press conference and blast your coach.
We know.
Clay, one
last
question.
Your lips right up again.
One last question for you, Clay. Is the bowl game, is it a vacation? Is it a reward? Or is it part of the season?
Man, it's the ultimate goal that you worked for all those weeks. So,
it's part of the season. It's got to be.
It is. It's a vacation atmosphere. You're right. I forgot who said that, but you get there and there's tours and there's parties that are set up by the bowl committee. So it's like a vacation atmosphere, but yet you better keep your business mind on because you're there to do a job. But
now you played for the national title during your tenure, and you also played in bowl games that were something less than national title games. Is that correct?
Right. We played in one non-national title game. So
was that game approached differently than the national title games?
It was. It absolutely was. It was more of a reward, not vacation, but more of a let's go have fun type deal.
All right. I think you've proven my point. Thank you so much, Clay.
Let's go have fun. You guys suck so bad we can't play for
that happens to be. That's the way of the world. That's human nature. That's exactly what happens. And there you have a guy who just lived it. Now, does that help you at all?
Should you show up at the Academy Awards pissed drunk?
Why not? What, they don't?
Why not? Yeah, you did all your work. That's the reward, right? The nomination.
Absolutely. Crawl out of your limousine, be dragged by the back of your collar.
To the podium, reach in your pocket, dump some blowout, cut up a couple lines.
Well, no, wait a minute.
Why
not? Well, that's against the law.
Oh.
That's not.
How about a flask?
No, I think yes, and many of them have shown up poop-faced to the Academy Awards. And would I, if I won the Academy Award, my liver would be gone in 2 weeks. Absolutely.
God, I wish you'd win the Academy.
You would stay. Let's go to Deacon Mike. Someday I will. Deacon Mike, you're on with the Academy Award-winning Kevin Kiley and Chuck.
Oh, my God. You make me want to barf already.
Well, please, don't let me stop you there, Deacon Mike. right on the front of your Christmas gift there. What'd you get, a Nehru jacket?
A can of Spam and a bottle of wild turkey.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
It's the meal that keeps giving.
I'm telling you. Hey, on this Grossman thing, come on. The guy, you're telling me the guy doesn't know where he has to be at a certain time?
No, nobody said that.
Hey, well,
what do you got, 1 year or something?
Hey, well, yeah. But anyway, if he doesn't show up, it makes it look like he thinks he's bigger than the team and bigger than the game.
Right. And also, wait a minute, here's something else that hasn't been brought up. Kev, does it not signal to the coach that if he's not there on time, that he really doesn't care about this game?
That's right. And you know what?
I better go with the quarterback that does.
You wouldn't surprise me to see Grossman go to Miami and Berlin stay at Florida.
Well, there's a classic comment. Now, that was a classic comment that Booms just made. I don't know if this didn't go by everybody, but it's a guy that cares about. The guy that doesn't care about the game is 15, 20 minutes, an hour late for the curfew. The guy that does care about it is transferring to Miami.
No. The guy who cares about it is the rest of the players who are in bed when they should be.
Come on, you make mistakes, for God's sakes. You run the guy. I didn't say to forgive him. I said run him up and down.
That sounds like a liberal response.
Yeah, there he goes. People make mistakes.
Mike, get the hell off. What a way to start the second year here. What?
I sent you something in the mail, but don't let Mom see it or you'll be in big trouble. It's your Christmas present.
Inflatable?
It was when I sent it. I don't know what it'll be when it gets there.
All right, thank you, Deacon
bye.
Mike. All right, let's go to Tim. Tim, you're on with Kiley and Booms and Deacon Mike on Fox Sports Radio. All right, Jeff, you're on with Kiley and Booms, Fox Sports Radio.
How you doing?
Hey, Jeff, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Just want to make a couple points. First, Steve Spurrier is going to be damned if he does and damned if he doesn't.
Right. If he didn't do anything, they'd say it's a lax program. Especially, by the way, that's a great point. Let's say that Grossman was out, 3-4 hours carousing, and he doesn't do anything. And right before, 3-4 hours before kickoff, one of these Woodward and Bernstein schmucks down in Miami gets a hold of the story from the nightclub guy. He says, yeah, he was here with his pants around his ankles, 4 broads, and liquor rolling out of his nose. The next thing you know is Steve Spurrier would be castrated as the worst friggin' coach in the country, and you know it.
Well, why is it that you guys don't listen to what I said? I didn't say let him off. I said punish him differently. Punish him differently is all I'm saying. I'm saying punish him. Take his passing hand and hit it with a hammer, but don't suspend it.
Well, also with Bobby Baden, when it comes to suspending players, he doesn't ever do a thing.
You're right.
And Spurrier is trying to run a tight ship there, a disciplined program, and he's getting ridiculed for it. It's not right.
And you know what happens when you have a kid and you don't do what you're supposed to do with him? You want to know what happens? They become Lawrence Phillips. And guess what happened to Lawrence Phillips when he came in the NFL? He pulled the same crap that he pulled at Nebraska because he got away with it. When you could take your girlfriend and wing her down the stairs in college and nothing happens, you don't think that he thinks now that he's getting a paycheck and playing for whatever team he's playing for, he can't do it. You send these guys off into the real world thinking, I can do anything. With no repercussions.
Well, you know who Lawrence Phillips ran all over the Gators that game, and he should have been suspended.
Right.
Spurrier, the game is the game.
Who's your favorite team?
Well, who do you think my favorite team is?
Get the hell off here.
Good for you, buddy.
I'll tell you what. You talk college football, and they come out of the woodwork, the baseboards. Let's go to Chuck. Chuck, you're on with Kiley and Booms.
Now, here's a guy with a very intelligent name.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call.
Happy New Year, Chuckles.
You better wait till the end of it before you thank us.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I don't care what happens. So one thing I want to say is you guys replaced a pretty high-profile talk show here in this market, but I'm glad you did. Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Florida.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we're kicking ass in Florida. They were telling Miami, Pensacola.
You guys are good. You guys are good. It's a great format. I got 2 points.
Yeah.
We don't even have a format.
First
why he likes
it is a good format.
That's why he likes it.
Yeah,
well, do me a favor, write it on a piece of paper and send them to me so I can see what the format is.
Okay.
He can't read.
Okay, you don't know what it is, right?
No, I have no idea. Well, you're part of it, evidently.
First point is Brock Berlin was the highest-rated quarterback coming out of college.
Right.
High school.
Okay.
Yeah, coming out of high school.
Coming out of high school, going into college. He came in the winter semester. He graduated high school early, joined college early.
Right.
And the kid's got to feel bad not playing, okay? So you take what you want to with that as far as what Spurrier, and maybe it's a conspiracy theory type thing here.
Well, the guy called earlier and had a decent point. If you're trying one last ditch effort to get him not to leave, this might be it.
Ridiculous.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. And maybe
the other kid was
up
for the Heisman. He's leaving, for God's sakes. God, you guys are unbelievable.
Look, Verlin's got to sit out next year anyways, no matter where he goes. If he goes to Miami, he's sitting out.
Right. But he's going.
Okay? Well, we don't know that yet.
We don't know that.
Number two, Grossman may not be there after next year, even though they're both sophomores.
That's right.
So that's my point.
We don't know, by the way, we don't know the relationship between Grossman and Spurrier. It could be very compatible.
True, we don't know that either.
Yeah.
And
they could be lovers.
Anyway, I'm gonna jump things here. My second point is I think Spurrier has been very consistent with discipline, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right, our format does not allow for a second point, so you're out of here.
He's right, though. If you stay consistent with whatever you're doing, you can't be bitched at. And that's what Spurrier's doing.
Yeah, isn't he the one that let him fight on Bourbon Street and didn't do anything? How consistent was that?
It's the whole
Kylie
team.
and Boom's here.
Kylie and Boom's pack them all up and take them home?
1-877-996-6369. 1-877-999-FOX. No, not start anybody in the first quarter.
Fox Sports Radio.
What is it? Costa Parade tomorrow, the Orange Bowl parade. Yesterday, today, whenever they have the Orange Bowl parade, the Ducks are parading around on their little web feet as they beat Colorado 38-16 in the Fiesta Bowl. Stake their claim for, I hate that Duck. If I was an Oregon Duck, I'd just kill myself. Absolutely the worst. And the uniforms on the Oregon. Now, please, I know there's people up in Oregon that are very loyal listeners. There is nothing uglier than that helmet with that ridiculous 0 on it. Drives me crazy. The colors drive me crazy. It's an O. It's a 0. How can you have an O on your helmet?
It's an O for Oregon, you moron.
I know what it is.
What do you want,
the most ridiculous, the stupidest. How can you be called the Oregon Duck? Listen to that. Listen to that. It's a creature that makes the dumbest sound, aside from you, of course, of any breathing, living animal on the face of the earth. Listen to that.
I like
play
the
that
green. I know what a duck sounds like.
I'd rather listen to you than a duck.
Didn't you like Donald Duck?
Donald Duck was the most repulsive, disgusting. You ever been close to a duck?
I love ducks.
Ducks and sheep must come from the same original being, the same piece of plankton. Ducks are disgusting and vile. They got little poops hanging out of their butt wherever they go. They smell like hell. They sit in putrid water.
Well, you got 2 of the 3 in common.
Oregon Ducks. Not only that, you know what you can do with that word. You have many variations of the word duck. Well, congratulations to you people up there in Oregon for your win. But for God's sakes, change the name of that.
I love the uniforms. I like the green and the yellow. I like it.
Green and yellow. It is, and it's yellow. It's a yellow. It's not green and gold.
So
it's
are the stupid
putrid
Packers.
yellow. No, the Packers are not yellow. They are not yellow. They are not.
You're wrong.
Somebody in Wisconsin, we must be on Green Bay or someplace.
Those pants are as yellow
They
as
are not yellow. The Packers' uniforms are beautiful. It's like an old gold is what
you
that
are
is.
so stupid. It's yellow.
It is not yellow.
And it's a bright yellow.
The Oregon yellow.
First
of all, Ducks' little feet are orange. They're not yellow.
So what? Ducks can be yellow.
No, ducks. Only a very ill duck is yellow.
No,
a jaundiced duck is yellow.
Baby ducklings are yellow. Have you ever seen a baby duck?
Only on the end of a fork.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Only with orange sauce.
LSU wins. Tyrone Willingham will get to that a little bit. No, I can't. There's nothing about duck.
KRF made me duck one night. I ate it. It was a good sauce. I feel bad because you keep thinking of little ducks, how cute they are.
I thought she threw something at you when you said KRF made me duck one night.
And I did, and the bowl smashed off the wall.
Right.
No,
what did she do?
Very good. It was very good.
Put it on the end of a stick and put a lighter under it?
Slaved over the stove all day. We had a really nice wine.
Right.
I remember like it was yesterday.
And then it was Colorado was going to have duck.
And then there was rug burns everywhere.
Thanks for the duck and for the...
and good luck.
Yeah, and good luck.
Thanks for the duck and good luck. Very good. Very
Fox
good.
Sports Radio. All right, we're talking about... You got that out of order, I think.
Yeah,
that comes before good luck.
And you duck.
And the duck, yeah. All right, I think we're going to the phones if there's anybody left who has any religion at all. 1-877-996-6369, 1-877-99 on Fox. We're talking about...
I just choked.
Yeah, oh God, please. That was my New Year's, that was my resolution, was to make you choke.
Well, what I remember from that night, not only was the food great, the atmosphere was great, the wine was great, but I got to tell you, it was a rug burn, and I had a cut somewhere on my hand or something, and... You know, it was going pretty good, and she just had new carpet put in. I got blood on the carpet. So
I was going to ask you if you got her little web feet up in there.
And here's what'll make you realize. Guess what color the... Yeah, her orange web feet. Guess what color the carpet was? Yellow.
Yellow.
There you go. So that brings it all full circle. All right. And I'll bet you $1,000 cash the Green Bay their pants match that big hunk of cheese those idiots wear on their head.
No way. It's not yellow. It's not yellow. Nobody says green and yellow.
It's yellow.
Except for the Ducks, the Oregon Ducks. The thought of the Oregon Ducks being national champions. Go Ducks. Just the most repulsive... vile. Last time I saw a duck, there was a guy beating it to death with a 4-iron.
That's ridiculous. Don't you think Canadian geese are pretty?
Geese? How would you like to be? How would you like to be the Euclid goose? Gooses, geese. I mean, just think about that. That's the problem. Oregon ducks, panthers,
swans,
tigers,
those are all the same
ducks.
thing.
The LSU Ducks. They're ridiculous. The Michigan Fighting Ducks.
You got the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I know. Ludicrous. Ludicrous. I can't even read their score in a newspaper. That's how bad I am.
And they play at the pond.
At the pond, yeah. How manly. Let's go see the Ducks on the pond.
See at the pond.
Yeah. All right. We're talking about, at least we were talking about Rex Grossman and whether or not who gives a damn. Put a caller on there, Artie.
Maybe it'll be Rex violating curfew and calling us.
Wank. Wank. You're on with Kiley and Wank. Thanks for the call, Eddie. Who's next, Artie?
Hey, Eddie. That's the best call we ever had, Eddie.
Happy New Year, Eddie.
He laughed through the whole damn thing.
Come on, man.
All right, look, get a stick and bite on it and try to get this out here.
Okay, hey. First time here, boys.
Well, Happy New Year to you. Here, hold on. Have a little piece of bread. There you go.
Some orange sauce on it.
Oh, Lord, I can't breathe. Fellas, I was going to call about the Grossman thing, but forget that. Gentlemen, look here. I happen to have read the L.A. Times and the Long Beach Press Telegram's opinion of you. I mean, I was in shock. I mean, it was awful. I said to myself, "No, wait a minute now." I said, "Wait a minute."
That was the best one we got.
I didn't even know we got beat up in the Long Beach.
Oh, no, and let me tell you something. They got you worse in the Press Telegram than Larry Stewart got you. And what I'm saying is that I'm thinking, wait a minute, but I like this show. I mean, this is a great show. You two fools are hilarious.
Well, what does that say about you, Eddie?
Exactly. That's my whole concern.
Hey, Eddie. Yes, can you believe that coming from Long Beach? You ever been to Long Beach?
I used to live in Long Beach.
You drive all the way in, you see the Queen Mary, and then you put your gas pedal on 90 to get out of town.
Well, all I'm saying, though, fellas, is I like the show, and I don't really understand the criticism. I mean, I can relate to Kyle because I like his way of thinking. I can relate to Boone because I like his attitude. You know, I mean, and of course, Kyle, you're the sane one, and Boone, you're the life of the party.
I'm the smart one.
So you're the life of the party, Boone.
The life of the party.
Hey, at another time, fellas, I'm going to call in and tell you why I like this show so much. But right now, I'm going to get out your way and let you go ahead on and have you some fun.
Oh, don't let us stop you here. We'll dump the commercials to hear why you like the show.
We'll take Eddie for the rest of the 2 hours.
Thank you, Eddie. God bless you, Eddie.
Happy New Year.
All right, we got Jay Moore here, who evidently did not read the Long Beach paper, because he's still on with us. Jay Moore from Stage Screen and Fox NFL Sunday morning early at 8 a.m.
First of all, Jay...